The Coke bloat. It's called the Coke bloat. They're swollen ankles, feet, face, hands, neck, back, doesn't matter. It's the Coke bloat. Do you understand that? Greetings, greetings. Did that capture your attention for the first 30 seconds? Please. It's called the Coke bloat. Greetings, greetings, all divine beings. It is Witchy Poo coming back to you with another video. And if you are feeling kind, please subscribe. Now, I am not talking about the drink. I am literally talking about that thing, okay? So I'm not saying me. Oh gosh, let me clear that up. No. When you see swollen activity, when you see swollen individuals, people, it's a Coke bloat. I found that out literally moments this rising ago. They got the Coke bloat. We're getting into Zayn and Lewis. They had a fight, and I don't believe that it was real. I believe it was bullshit. But that is just an opinion, not based on spiritual guidance in this moment. Now, I know that they had some sort of Netflix series, Netflix special that was supposed to happen, and it is now not going forward. Please check out the One Direction Tarot series playlist. I believe we have captured everybody under the sun regarding these individuals, but it looks like we're going to keep going. I have one more after this one. So let's find out what this debacle, this dispute was about. Lewis and Zayn had a fight. Tell me about these Capricorns. What are these earth signs up to in the moment? All right. Everything seems even on the bottom of the deck. In the future is the 9 of Cups. Satisfaction is here. I don't know if it was really real. I believe that this was to capture the attention so they can get some sort of bigger deals. They needed more time. There's satisfaction here on the way this went, and you guys believed every line. Spirits, can you tell me about this debacle, this fight between Zayn and Lewis? They are both Capricorns from One Direction. First card we have is the King of Wands. So this is a focus. This is taking control. They obviously had some sort of vision from the past, and it may have just been a bold thing to do, to address something that was long ago in front of cameras, in front of people. Now, let's find out more. I've got these 6 of Swords. In the present moment, there is like a point that somebody needs to move on from. But it feels like it's a moving on to a different place, a different transition, a different motive. All right, we got 2 that have popped out. I mean, I should have taken them the way they were, because they were like this, sideways. So here they are. I have the 7 of Cups in reverse. This is feelings, and this is also understanding that somebody wants a change, or they are just stagnant about what they're doing. I don't think this is coming from like the One Direction group. This is somebody else leading, conducting. The Hangman in reverse. This Cancer energy makes me feel that there is some discontentment or disinterest regarding of a focus. Okay, so something here just isn't content. I have the Death card. This is Capricorn energy. Now, they are both here. They have let go of something, and it may have just been in front of the cameras. But the way that they have let go of something is to kind of transform and move in a different direction. One direction at that. Together on the same page, on the same wavelength. This doesn't feel like this was like a real fight. This feels like a new beginning of an ending, that they had to do this. Oh goodness. And then the 4 of Wands in reverse. There's something here that still wants to transition. There's transition here and moving forward. Tell me about this king. What does the King of Wands means when it comes to the fight with Zayn? So someone had to make a decision here, and it was daring. They had to make it either to get more money with that 10 of Pentacles, or to get some sort of reward with the 6 of Wands. It's a success here. All right. And then it is, okay, so something was done out of struggle. Something was done out of insecurity here. And I feel like money is on the table, but this was also a bold decision to make. Because not only was this Netflix thing kind of taken away, it feels like the progress that they wanted to have. They just wanted it to move in a different direction. Maybe money could be involved here, but there is recognition that needed to be had from the past, because all the money, everything of success is here. So if everything is in alignment and everything is in security, not insecure, but secure, why do we have this cold energy of poverty here? I got to break out the literary witches deck, because this isn't answering the question on what the money's involved for, or, about this fight. Identity and the boar. So the boar is here because there is aggression. There is dual masculinity. So they were arguing about something. But whatever this is, it had already been addressed, but not really had closure here. Let me find her. Identity is investigating identity, roles, and who you are. They were fighting and disputing over the three others. These two aren't really upset with each other. This is over the step someone was taking that may have put somebody in a handicap, or they were hurt in the direction that they were going with reuniting. Okay. And there is tension and anger here, but it's not from these two, not from Zayn and Lewis. This feels like this is coming from a different place. Could you tell me more about this Six of Swords in the present moment? Now, when I say moving on, this is what is happening. Someone has accepted a lesson, and someone has also got some sort of karmic retribution. And then there's the Emperor in reverse. They don't have the control. Somebody doesn't have control over them like they used to. There's something here that really feels like an abuse of power, and it's not coming from these two. It's still coming from somebody who's in charge, that's been waiting for their arrival, waiting for them to kind of come. I got justice and the moon here. So not only is the truth being illuminated to you, but it's an illusion over this fight, and it's an illusion over this situation. The truth is here, and there is some sort of legal dispute that may come from this. It's coming from no longer wanting to be controlled, no longer wanting to have their dreams put on hold. So they had to walk away from this Netflix thing. They had to walk away from some sort of situation that would have brought them money, because there's more to be made here. There's something we're not seeing, and it's the dark Sylvia Plath. One moment. Let's see. I believe that is what we're seeing is false, and what's lying from the root is the truth. Intensity and fury. There is energy that's living in the dark that doesn't want these two to have, doesn't want this group to kind of get back together. There's an inability here because something isn't equaling out in payment. Somebody is not getting their fair big share, and that's why this Seven of Cups is in reverse, and this energy of somebody not letting these boys see their full potential, seeing their full purpose. So this is a distraction that's coming in the future, and this may have been who it was. There's the Hermit, Virgo energy in reverse. That's isolation and loneliness. Queen of Cups, and then the Ace of Pentacles. I mean what I say when there's a new opportunity for this whole group to get reunited and make some big, serious money. But there is resources that I feel would have to fund this right off the bat. And if resources have to fund that's not coming from the actual One Direction group, then you have to understand there's somebody here that's really a big part of this objective. There's somebody here that really still wants to control these two like children, actually three of them. And they're giving off feminine energy, and could very well be a male. Honesty is coming to you at this time, but something else that wanted to be fair, something needed to be fair here in order to move forward. And really, that's not what was coming up. So this is creating some sort of isolation, or people wanting to withdraw. This fight may have just been what they needed to do in a ticket to kind of stop something in its tracks to get more. They deserve it. Absolutely. And then we got the cat. So what we're watching and witnessing as far as this fight is concerned is self-ownership. They no longer want to be under some sort of contract or in control. So this untamed energy is uh, something that we've kind of watched blow in out of nowhere. They've had plenty of times to kind of face each other's like problems, but it's not about the individual self of each other that there's a problem. This is truly about a reward not being enough. So they have to separate and distance themselves between this project and situation. Tell me about the hangman. This is discontent. They're stalling. They definitely did this debacle to stall something here. The page of swords in reverse, king of pentacles, and then the seven of wands in reverse. These are all in reverse. So we are in the energy of confusion, and we also are in the energy of like really not wanting to surrender here. There's something that overwhelmed these boys, and it wasn't a dispute from many years ago. This is somebody who's still trying to control the money flow or the way that their careers should go. That creates stagnation, that creates confusion, but most of all, that makes people not happy to do music, not happy to do what, their passion, right? So I've got this King of Pentacles here that is still obsessed with wealth and status. But this isn't coming from these two boys. This is coming from somebody who's still puppetry, gaining control, that's very greedy from the past. They haven't grown at all from their cynical ways or their attitude. They actually still have bad plans for these two. They actually still have something very hazardous here, and that's why they had to do what they did in order to gain control of this situation, in order to gain control over something here that they deserve much more. The soul knows their spirit. The soul is here, Emily Dickinson. Emily is here because the inner world and the unknown, spiritual life. This could be because we're coming with the truth to you at this time, or this will also be because we are shocked to understand that this fight had nothing to do with something that has grown over the years, something that was hidden behind a dark secret. What stinks is the control over their minds and the control over their careers. You see all the flies around her head. The soul has the right to be free, but it's trying to be tamed. It's trying to be controlled here. Thank you, spirits. The next card before we end it all with the Four of Wands, we're going to get with the Death card that's upright. This is Capricorn and a new beginning for these two. And they had to do this to end some sort of, they had to do this to end something that needed to change. The transformation is here. Queen of Swords upright. That energy is cold-hearted and bitter. When we have the joint connection here with the two and the Wheel of Fortune. This is all coming to where it needs to be. Thank you, spirits. Thank you wholeheartedly. I say. On Tuesdays, purple is a good day. Purple is a good color. Purple is a good way. If you want to eat purple foods, wear purple clothes, have purple visions, purple pictures in your vision for you to understand the royalty and the aspect of this color for you to grow. The wheel is here in this moment, and this is a destiny. This is what was supposed to happen. These two are soulmates, and they're friends to the end here. And men can be soulmates, women can be soulmates. Everybody has a mate on this planet. You just have to have the heart to understand it, okay? But these guys are friends to the end, and they had a decisive moment that they had to act to change something here. So they pretended that the bond was broken. But in reality, this is something that they just don't want to be a part of. Any more bad deals, any more bad investments. They should have not planned to really fight, but it captured some sort of attention. But as you can see, this is coming from a controlled person. So they had to do this fake thing. They had to pretend something wasn't right here. Now, granted, they all have disputes and quirks, and they all have disputes, and they all have discontent with each other when it comes to one thing or another. But it's nothing here as to where they can't be constructive and work together. So you have to know that somebody's here that's always a quick thinker. Somebody's here that's not fair in how they split paychecks. there's a lot of things here that are a part of some sort of objective. And it has something to do with these boys changing and not wanting to surrender, not wanting to give up this white flag. Final card is the Four of Wands in reverse. Tell me about that. Thank you guys for being here. Now, this is instability and a lack of support. Still, this is some transition happening to get away from someone. Devil is here, the Knight of Cups, and then the Nine of Swords in reverse. These guys are learning to cope with a lot of things. They suffer with mental health issues on a daily basis. So the fight that they had is something that was just trying to cover up what needs to seriously be addressed from somebody else that caused shame, that caused guilt in this Queen of Swords spirit. With the Four of Wands, knowing in the future, this conflict is only because somebody is just obsessed with abusing them. Somebody is obsessed with creating some sort of powerless situation. So what was done in secrecy here, we wouldn't be able to understand because it was just between the two of them. But they still have some sort of connection as friends. But what has happened here, they had to break free from somebody who had them chained by the neck. They had to break free from somebody here who's still trying to stop more money that they could make and really create some sort of conflict. It's all unrealistic that happens, and these boys are no longer putting up with it. So this self-centered energy is coming from somebody who's controlling finances, fortune, fame, deals, money, and also to understand that these boys are walking away from a deal that was set up kind of just without them. There's the tea, there's the teacup. Two more to end this for the Zayn and Lewis reading. We've got humanity, the peacock. I am not doing all those. The rabbit popped up. That's an adventure that's waiting to happen. Final card is devotion. That may be, again, Lenny Kravitz's daughter. She popped out in Harry Styles, this devotion card, prior. Something here with music is that they're so devoted to, they are no longer going to just settle for things that don't fit their pockets or their mood to. Flannery O'Connor is here for the humanity because they literally had to put blood on their hands in order to make something look no longer pretty. But they still have a connection here, but they want to break free from something that has not gained full circle yet in all these years. And with this teacup, I did it backwards, future, past, and present. But with this teacup here, you know, we are small-minded to not understand this situation. And there's small-minded people that are around these boys that they are no longer wanting to deal with. But they have put something at ease and they have put something at rest. And I just want to let you know one more. Let's flip one more. Tell us about Zayn and Lewis, the Capricorns, and this fight once and for all before we log off. It's a fantasy that we are living in, and so are they. It's a fantasy over an argument in order to gain control of their motion, their house, their finances. And when I say house, I mean personal self space, right? But this is all a way to have a connection of their own thing. They no longer want to be a part of somebody controlling something.